All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakakodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the hopeful elect brothers that's doing the will of the Lord in sincerity and in truth. And now, this is going to be a very short lesson, and is a testimony that I have, and it happened twice, 2 times. It happened yesterday and day before yesterday, I believe. But it's instances of Edomite women stealing. And when they got caught, they lied about it. And it was nothing major, but it just made me think, because it happened, let's say it happened Monday, and then it happened Tuesday. So one day it happened, and then the next day it happened. And then I'm like, wow, these people are really, demonic. They're liars and they're thieves. And let me get a scripture first. Let me get scriptures, and then let me go into what happened. Psalms 58:3. And they put the stereotype on Jake that, Jake are, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are shoplifters and murderers, and, they destroy their community. Well, that is true, but Salakia. But the 2/3 actually learned it from Esau, even though the 2/3 are wicked and they're going to be destroyed anyways. But Esau is a thief and he's a liar. Psalm 58:3. The wicked are, as a nation, is the so-called white man, which is the biblical Edomites. Salakia. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So the wicked is estranged from the womb. They are gone from the womb. Edomites have a very demonic spirit. They naturally go off. They lie, they steal, they cheat, they're pedophiles. The women have sex with animals. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray. Salaka, 1 second. Your cooperation helps prevent injuries and keeps New York City moving. Thank you for riding with the MTA. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So as soon as they're born, they're demons. So there is no good Edomite. There's no Edomite that's going to be saved when Yahweh Shai comes back to deliver the elect of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's just impossible. The Most High made them to be the wicked, to be Satan on earth. Now, another scripture is, let me see what. John 8:44. John 8:44. Is it John? Yeah, I think it is. John 8:44 says, "Ye are of your father the devil," and Yahweh Shai was rebuking wicked Israelites and saying that ye are of your father the devil, which is the so-called white man. which is the wicked. You are of your father, meaning you're following the ways of the devil, the so-called white man, and the lusts of your father ye will do. So they were acting and living just like the so-called white man, meaning they were they weren't righteous, even though they were pretending to be righteous. He was a murderer from the beginning. That's talking about Cain, and Cain came back in the reincarnation as Esau. So the descendants of Cain today is the so-called white people, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. So when you go back to Genesis, Cain was the first murderer because he slew his brother Abel because he was jealous. He wasn't giving up the right sacrifices to the Lord, but Abel was. Even though Cain knew what to do, he chose not to do it. He knew the right thing, but he chose not to do it because he's the wicked, he's the devil. And he's a liar. Now, let me go into what happened, right? So the first one, the first time it happened, I was at a cafe getting something to eat before going to work. I think I was getting a croissant or something. And then I paid for it, and then I saw the cashier, the person putting the food in the bag, putting the croissant in the bag. They put it in the bag, and then they put it right next to them. And then there was this group of white ladies behind me, and they were waiting for their food too. They saw everything. I paid for it, and then when I looked up, the bag was missing, and then they left. So I'm like, all right, they took it. And then the lady gave me, just gave me another round of croissants, right? So that's one instance which they saw, but just because they're Edomites, working at the cafe, they're Edomites. So they worship white people, they worship Esau too. So they're pretending like they didn't know what happened. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And then the next day, I'm off. I'm on break. And then I went to a deli in the city to get something to eat again, right? And then this white couple, they sounded like they're from Europe. The same thing happened. I paid for the food, and then they put the food in the bag, and then this white lady, she actually took the bag with my food, and then her husband was right there. And then I'm like, where's the bag? And then when I look back, I saw it in her hand. And then she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Even though she knew that it was my food. They're just a small example, like a very, very tiny example of the huge problem, which is the devil on earth. He's a liar and he's a thief. And his women are the same way. White women are wicked too. White women are the devil too. They used to lie on Jake during slavery and after slavery, and they would say that Jake, R-worded them, and then they would get lynched or beaten to death or tortured or murdered in a very horrific way, like a Emmett Till. Now, it just, sparked my mind that it happened, one day after the other. So it inspired me to make this lesson. So yeah, Esau's the devil. Let me get another one. Proverbs 6:30 says, and I don't remember if the first time it happened, if the ladies the white woman behind me, I don't know if they walked out or if they waited a bit, until I left and then they left. I don't remember, but the second time it happened, literally, they were literally behind me, right next to me. And then she took up the food while I put my head down. Proverbs 6:30. Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. So, when you go into the law, if you steal because you're hungry, there's mercy for that because you don't have anything else. You're stealing bread because of necessity. You're hungry. You're going to starve to death. Now, the Lord shows a lot of mercy in the law. So, if you're found, you're just going to have to restore it. But these Edomites have money. These Edomites have bread. These Edomites are taken care of. They're not like Jake, where they're still suffering, even though the curses are going on them. But it just shows that, Esau is the devil. It's cliche, but it's true. White woman stealing. So there's been a rising number of cases of white women stealing and shoplifting. But that's not on the news though. And that's the end of the lesson. Lord will is edifying. All praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Bahasham Harakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.